Daily Pink Slip. From devastating earthquakes and tsunamis to the most destructive hurricanes ever recorded, we're taking a look at the 10 worst natural disasters in modern history. Number 10, August 29th, 2005. Hurricane Katrina hit the Gulf Coast of the United States. The storm was approximately 400 miles across and brought in constant winds of 100 to 140 miles an hour. Hundreds of thousands of people in Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi lost their homes while taking refuge from the storm. Katrina brought about the failure of 50 levees in New Orleans, which caused severe flooding. Over 80% of the city was covered in water. The Superdome Stadium was used as a shelter for those that couldn't leave the city. The storm was estimated to have caused over $100 billion in damage and the deaths of nearly 2,000 people. It has taken years of rebuilding and recovery to undo the damage done by this ravenous hurricane. Number 9, July 27, 1976. At 4 a.m., when most were sound asleep and unprepared, an earthquake slammed Tangshan, China. With a magnitude of 7.8 and an aftershock of 7.1, this earthquake is believed to be the worst of the 20th century when measured by death toll. The buildings in this region weren't built to withstand any kind of natural disaster of this scale, and hundreds of thousands of structures fell. As a result, there was an estimated 650,000 fatalities. Those that survived the initial earthquake were trapped under collapsed buildings. Since this disaster, Tangshan has completely rebuilt and is known as the Brave City of China. Number 8, November 13th, 1985. The Nevada Del Ruiz volcano, after being dormant for 69 years, erupted. This small eruption caused the formation of a huge lahar, which is basically a giant landslide of mud and debris. This lahar completely buried and destroyed the town of Armero, killing 20,000 people. There were roughly 29,000 people living in Armero at the time. To this day, this is the deadliest lahar in recorded history and Colombia's worst natural disaster. Controversy surrounds this event as the mayor of Armero warned the Colombian government of the impending eruption. He was not taken seriously and the town was unprepared for the disaster when it happened. Armero was never rebuilt after the tragedy, and the volcano still poses a threat to nearly 500,000 people. Number 7, March 11, 2011. An undersea megathrust earthquake occurred off the coast of Tohoku, Japan. With the peak magnitude of 9.0, this was the most powerful earthquake to hit Japan and the fourth most powerful recorded since they started keeping track in 1900. This graphic shows just how far the effects were felt. The tsunami caused nearly 16,000 deaths and forced more than 200,000 people to relocate from their homes. In addition to all the homes destroyed, the Fukushima Dainai nuclear power plant was damaged enough to experience level 7 meltdowns in 3 of the reactors. The plant was quickly declared a state of emergency. The World Bank estimated the overall cost of this earthquake and tsunami to be around $235 billion, making this the costliest natural disaster in world history. Number 6, October 2012. Hurricane Sandy ravaged Cuba, the Bahamas, and the United States. It's no surprise that the amount of destruction was so great, as Sandy was the largest Atlantic hurricane on record, 1,100 miles at its diameter. This Category 3 storm caused $75 billion damage total, with $71.4 billion of that in the United States alone. The final death toll was 233 across 8 countries, and the structural damage to homes and businesses was immense. This was the second costliest hurricane in the United States, behind Katrina. Number 5, December 26, 2004. An undersea earthquake occurred in the Indian Ocean off the west coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. The third largest earthquake recorded on a seismograph, it registered a magnitude of 9.3 on the Richter scale. This triggered the deadliest tsunami in recorded history. The massive waves affected 14 countries and caused over 200,000 casualties. There were no tsunami warning systems in the Indian Ocean, so it caught most by complete surprise. Due to this tragedy, the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning System was created and was fully operational by 2006. This warning system was used successfully in the 2012 Indian Ocean earthquakes. Number 4, August 24th, 1992. Over the central Atlantic Ocean, a hurricane developed and worked its way towards Florida, Hurricane Andrew. By the time it hit land, it had reached Category 5 intensity. Winds were reported of up to 177 miles per hour, and the devastation was immense. It leveled 63,000 homes, damaged over 100,000 others, left nearly 175,000 people homeless, and caused 65 deaths. The price for this was over $25 billion, which made this the costliest hurricane in the United States at the time. Though no disaster is funny by any means, it's nice to see that at least one woman was able to find some humor in all this. We could use a beer too. Number 3, January 12, 2010. A massive earthquake with a magnitude of 7.0 on the Richter scale hit a town just 16 miles west of Haiti's capital. Major damage occurred to many buildings, including the Presidential Palace, the National Assembly Building, and the Port-au-Prince Cathedral. More than 3 million people were affected by the quake, with casualty estimates around 160,000. 6 months after the quake, nearly 98% of the rubble remained. It's been 5 years since this disaster, and a large population of people still live in shanty towns as rebuilding continues. Number 2, May 2nd, 2008. The worst natural disaster in the recorded history of Myanmar. Cyclone Nargis touched down on land. With heavy rains and winds up to 135 miles per hour, flooding and destruction quickly swept the nation. With an estimated $10 billion in damages and fatalities racking up, the military rulers of Myanmar were initially resistant to accept international aid. A week after the disaster, they finally decided to accept food, medicine, and financial aid, but refused to let foreigners enter the country to help. It is estimated that over 160,000 people died as a result of Cyclone Nargis. Number 1, October 8, 2005. The Azad Kashmir region of Pakistan was nailed with an earthquake measuring 7.6 on the Richter scale. North Pakistan suffered the worst hardship, with entire towns being wiped out altogether. There was also extreme damage to the roadways, which made rescue efforts difficult in the aftermath. Hospitals, schools, and emergency services were crippled. Overall, more than 80,000 people lost their lives as a result of the Kashmir earthquake, and roughly 4 million were left homeless. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Do us a favor and subscribe to Daily Pink Slip. Click like, share with your friends, hit us up on Facebook and Twitter, and leave comments. New Daily Pink Slip videos just for you guys every single week. Subscribe so you don't miss a video.